How's it going, everybody? C-RadTV back here in our video, and welcome to another Detroit Lions 2024 NFL Draft Preview. In the last draft preview, we took a look at the top defensive lineman prospects that realistically the Lions could draft in the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft, aka just on noon. And in this one, we're going to wrap up the round one portion of the draft previews by taking a look at the top defensive back and safety prospects in rounds one of the 2024 NFL Draft. And in this one, nobody is going to be cut out. Everybody that's on the list is in play possibly, because especially with the Cam Sun thing, I think there's now a strong possibility that the Lions could potentially trade up in the draft to get a corner from. They could trade up from 29. So we're going to take a look at the top defensive back and safety prospects in rounds one of the draft and see who the Lions should target and who should they possibly look at possibly trading up for to get a corner. Because before the Cam Sun thing, the Lions really had no needs, and they could just go out and take best player available on their board. But now with the whole Cam Sun thing, and with him getting released now the Lions have a massive need at corner. Like, I won't rule it out a possibility. They could sign one in the offseason, still at the next month, like a Stephon Gilmore or something like that, give him a one-year deal. And then draft a corner in the draft to have a mentor so that the rookie doesn't have to start with week one. Or maybe the Lions just fucking shock everybody, trade the 29th pick to the Chiefs for L'Jarius Sneed. That's also a possibility, too. But anyway, we'll take a look at some of these prospects and see who the Lions should take a look at. So, let's go. So, starting off with corners, the first one we're going to go over here. Hailing out of Clemson, standing 6'2", weighing 189 pounds, we got Nate Wiggins. So, for Nate, he's your prototype coverage corner with exceptional size, length, shutdown corner traits. It makes him a blue-chip prospect in this draft class. In terms of his strengths, in the conversation, be a top defensive back drafted in 2024 in this draft because of his unique combination of height, length, speed, swivel in his lower half, warrant the shutdown corner label. Moves with ease, gets a lightning start to hit full speed to blink. Smooth to accelerate and close, can shrink to miss blocks, be effective in short areas despite his light frame. Not easily leveraged on the boundaries or against in-cutting routes. Used as height and jump ball situations, consistently brings it at the highest point. Flexible with the awareness to reroute quickly. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he's confident but isn't a boxer at the line of scrimmage with the thin legs, below average physique. Only had 18 career starts in college at Clemson. Is packed with potential. May not be an instant hit facing NFL lead receivers until his play strength improves. Wirely needs to add bulk and strength. Willing to tackle but not be a bulldog and run support. Can be walled off or boxed out by bigger receivers on slants and short yardage combinations. In terms of NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Darius Slay of the Philadelphia Eagles. Overall, though, a lot of things to like out of him. Lockdown corner has all the traits. Blue chip prospect. He ain't gonna be there at 29. But hey, I think the Lions, if they want to have a shot at him, they're definitely gonna have to trade up probably into the high to mid-teens if they want to have any shot at getting Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins is gonna go in the first half of the draft. Probably in the early to mid-teens, around that range. But yeah, definitely someone I would consider trading up for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Alabama, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 190 pounds, we got Terrion Arnold. So for Terrion, he's a prototype closing recovering corner because it's center man coverage. He always reacts in a blink, can make a play. Made a play on 17 passes in 2023, and of the 17 passes he made a play on, 5 of them were interceptions. In terms of his strengths, twitchy initial movement, consistent ease and sudden shifts in direction with his light feet, powerful lower half of a ballerina, jump routes, instincts, catches with his hands, static clean coverage, and man press, seasoned and stone with a rapid close to the ball, willing tackler, nose for the ball, time arrival to break up passes, can't catch up, secure tackler when he has a direct time, covers ground quickly without wasted movement or misjudged angles on the ball in the air. Rare for him to see the back of a receiver's jersey on vertical routes, despite questions about deep speed. In terms of his negatives, though, he is prone to penalties with a reach and shove the field for receivers, so he's physical. Sometimes gets a little too physical. It can be a flag magnet, so he's got to learn to not draw flags. Gets caught locking eyes with the QB. Savvy receivers can use his hyper-aggressive coverage plans against him with in-cutting or reverse-cut face routes. He might not eat many blocks in the NFL at run support. He's willing and shows up with a plan. Better hand placement at the line to jam and in taking out receiver blocks in the run game. It fights protection of rapid improvement. Neither stands as a strength, though, today, however. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Trayvon Diggs to the Dallas Cowboys. Overall, a lot of things to like about him. Very physical. Does a lot of things right. It's very good in man coverage, zone coverage, press coverage. All good in all the coverages. You know, got to clean up on the flags thing, though, and be more disciplined. But if all that can get cleaned up, definitely somebody I would consider looking at for sure. Like, same deal with Nate Wiggins. You're more likely going to have to trade up at the early mid-teens to have a shot at him, since either him or Nate Wiggins are more likely going to be the first corner off the board. So yeah, definitely someone I would consider trading up for sure. Alright, so the next player we're going to go over here, he has one of the coolest names in this draft class. We have also, hailing out of Alabama, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 196 pounds, we got Kool-Aid McKinstry. And yes, it does say Kool-Aid as his name in the draft bios. I am not making that up. His real name's Quincy, but he likes to go by the name Kool-Aid. So, hey, whatever floats his boat, you know. So, yeah, in terms of Kool-Aid's strengths, rare instincts and feel for coverage, dynamic athleticism, played varied roles at Alabama and in the NFL. So, can be a Swiss Army knife in the secondary, can play almost anywhere in the secondary with his roles. Good size and arm length, coverable in man, can bump and run and make up ground if he's caught looking in the backfield. Willing if he's caught looking, willing and able blitzer off the edge. Light feet, has the agility to match with small receivers. Uncanny feel for plays. Developing in front of him with quickness to close. Can find the ball in the air. Thrives with authority to freelance and direct traffic to reposition any level of the defense based on his own pre-snap recognition. Uses length to get receivers off path. Competes for the ball at every level. Strong for his build, ready to drop oncoming ball carriers, plus his return skills, and wants the ball. In terms of his negative weaknesses, though, his time speed isn't off the charts over distance, but he covers his tracks with instincts and understanding of concepts in most instances. Not the biggest or strongest, and can trust himself too much when he's left on an island on his own. He's also been listed as a player that could disappoint in this draft class, because there's a lot of questions about his pure speed and his suddenness, which is combined with his likely high draft slot. It can make measuring up a steep climb for Kool-Aid. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Jair Alexander to Green Bay Packers. Overall, a lot of things to like out of his game. He's easily one of the biggest boom or bust corners in this draft class. I got a lot of corners in this video. He's easily the biggest boom or bust one. Like, he's either going to become the next Darrelle Revis or Primetime, or he's going to be a massive bust. There's really no in between. But with Kool-Aid, though, you wouldn't have to trade up into the teens to have a shot. Like, you're probably going to have to trade up into the early 20s, or maybe the late teens at the very highest, to have a shot at him for sure. But yeah, Kool-Aid, though, a lot of things to like out of him for sure. Very boom or bust. But you know what, I liked it, but I think if the culture is as good as Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes has said, then he should be boom. They should be able to make sure he goes boom. So yeah, definitely someone I would keep an eye on and consider on the board for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Iowa, standing 6'1", weighing 205 pounds, we got Cooper DeJean. So for Cooper, he's your prototype top playmaker corner because he had elite playmaker grades for his draft grades because of his ball skill, speed, and his versatility. In terms of strength, he has the build of a safety, movement skills of a corner, and the football IQ to make it work at nearly any position in secondary, so his versatility can play anywhere in the secondary. He won't be on the board for long. He's a see-it-stop-it type of defender, processes at the line, understands what adjustments might be coming, so capable, trusted in man coverage, so can play any coverage scheme. Bringing chess piece qualities to any defensive alignment, has the range to be a full-time safety with zone awareness, range, and closing speed, has the knack for the ball with soft hands and the athletic ability to catch even if not in the perfect position. He's a sponge in preparation with pro tendencies. He's a captain that's received Team Hustle Award and all Big Ten special teams notice, so With him being a team captain, that's a leader of men. So, of course, locker room leader, something Dan Campbell likes for sure. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he'll need a more seasoning for a full-time role as a cover corner to evolve technical prowess of footwork. Rocked up with mass that slightly limits his ability to flip his hips and run with elite athletes or drop in transition for his back pedal. Jumpy on misdirection, double moves that show some straight line tendencies. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Minkah Fitzpatrick of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Cooper Deshaun's game. Of course, a leader of men. Fits a lot of the things the Lions culture is about. Locker room leaders, locker room player. Definitely, I think this is somebody that will be on the Lions draft board for sure. They possibly may not have to trade up, or at least not too far, maybe the earlier mid-20s. Definitely, I think, could be in play at 29 if the Lions just want to stay pat, and 29, and whoever falls there, falls there. Definitely someone I think the Lions will be targeting for sure. And the last corner we're going to go over here in this video before we move on to the safeties, we have hailing out of Toledo, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 195 pounds. We got Quinton Mitchell. So for Quinton, he's a prototype read and react corner because he's a top competitor, never takes himself out of play. When he does lose a step, he's quick to close, and he set the Toledo single season record with 25 PBUs. So in terms of his strengths, lives around the ball, has a knack for timing, and the long arms and hands can disrupt even when a step behind. High pass breakup, total reflexes, competitive drive to get to the ball. Not a sign of poor hands, further supported by 4 interception game with Toledo for some tape if you want to watch there. Can play slot, but operates naturally outside with the frame to add bulk. Rangy and instinctive enough, can entice throws only to show explosive recovery skills. Can get back into play. Solid tackler with 125 career stops. He's more effective in short areas than many corners because of his burst. Turns his weaknesses, though. His aggression can be used against him in coverage. He was consistently able to recover against at MAC competition, but he tends to stare down QBs, which is a fatal flaw facing top-flight NFL QBs. Had 6 career picks on 46 PBUs, but his position coaches will push him to snag anything he can get 2 hands on. Stands and stares in zone, can be caught against short, quick horizontal routes because of his idle feet. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Devin Witherspoon of the Seattle Seahawks. And keep in mind, Devin Witherspoon was somebody the Lions were, that a lot of people said the Lions were rumored to be taken at the draft before Seattle snagged them right before Detroit's pick. But yeah, definitely, and also for Quinton Mitchell, he's been someone that's been mocked to the Lions quite a bit at pick 29. So yeah, a lot of things to like out of his game for sure. Does a lot of things right, was very productive in school. Definitely someone I think could be able to keep an eye on for sure. And if he's been mocked to the Lions at 29, they probably won't have to trade up to get him. Definitely someone to keep an eye on for sure. So now moving on to safeties, the one and only safety we're going to talk about in this video because the safety class isn't really graded that high. Plus safety isn't really a sexy position to take in the first round compared to corner. But anyway, the one and only safety we're going to go over in this video, aka the final player we're going to talk about in this video. We have, hailing out of Minnesota, standing 6'1", weighing 212 pounds, we got Tyler Nubin. So for Tyler, he's a prototype coverage safety. He's smooth in coverage, won't enable to drop back down, handle nickel duties, easy mover with top instincts, enough physicality for open field tackling. Terms of strength, instinctive, intelligent, adaptive with size, enough speed and range to wear multiple hats, can contribute immediately. Consistently stands out, make wow plays in coverage, thriving due to rare anticipation and timing. Frequently had QBs moving to the next read and progression. Thrives when he's challenged. Wants to own the middle of the field. Fluid movement. Short area agility. Capable pass rusher on the slot blitz. Had 12 blitz attempts in 2023. Goes up and gets in jump ball situations. With bigger receivers. Salivates for one-on-ones in the run game. Quick, urgent, explosive, and run support. Turns his weaknesses, though. He's not always immediate to shift from back pedal to close on play in front of him. His angles can be better in disguise coverage when he tries to pursue away from the ball. Seem restricted by the confines of the defense. His range is good but not great, which could be further exposed by NFL deep speed. He's not a burner, but on-field speed should translate. His losing fundamentals caused a lot of mixed tackles in college, 26 total to be exact, which, while reduced by his junior season, it remains a trouble spot. For comparison, Brian Branch, who the Lions took last year, missed 4 tackles in 3 seasons. Competitive nature is a decided strength, and scouts lived with the bad of occasionally taking the bait on misdirection. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Javon Holland of the Miami Dolphins. Overall, though, a lot of things to like out of his game. Can play nickel as well, so there's some versatility in the backfield as well. Does a lot of things right, can get pressure, can blitz, a lot of things the Lions like, especially for Aaron Glenn's defense to get some pressure to QB. Definitely someone I could see the Lions look at for sure. So yeah, anyway, that'll wrap it up here for this Lions NFL draft preview. So definitely quite a few interesting prospects to keep an eye on for the secondary for sure. Especially since corner's a massive need. The Lions do need a lockdown corner. And I think there's some prospects in this class, and especially the corner class, because the corner class is so fucking deep and loaded. And usually every class that's usually been deep and loaded, the Lions have always targeted that in the first round of their draft class. Keep in mind, when they drafted Hutchinson, edge was a very deep draft class that year. When they took Jahmyr Gibbs, I believe running back was a deep class that year too. And of course, this year, corner is the deepest class this year. And keep this in mind, Brad Holmes was also at Alabama's Pro Day the other day, which is the 3rd year in a row that Brad Holmes has attended Alabama's Pro Day. And keep this in mind, the last 2 years that Brad Holmes has attended Alabama's Pro Day, he's always ended up drafting an Alabama player in the first round. 2022, it was Jameson Williams. Last year, it was Jahmyr Gibbs. This year, could it be either Terry and Arnold or maybe even Kool-Aid Man McKinstry? Definitely going to be interesting for sure to see what the Lions do at 29. Since I think corner is going to be a need, and with the whole Cam Sutton thing, I think it changes the Lions' draft strategy entirely. Because more than likely, Lions are probably going to do what they did last year, just take best football player available on their board. And say, fuck positional value, just like they did last year. But now, I think they may have no choice but to take a corner at 29. And they may have to trade up for it. All I say to Brad Holmes and company is, please don't mess up everything you've built the last 3 years because of Cam Sutton being one bad apple in the bunch. But it'll be interesting to see what the Lions do in the draft. But, of course, in Brad Holmes, we trust. All I say is let him cook, goddammit. But anyway, that wraps up for the round 1 draft preview. So now we'll be moving on to day 2 of the draft, to the route for rounds 2 and 3 of the draft, and check out those previews. But anyway, that'll wrap it up here. That's all I'm going to say. Hope everyone's a great day, and I'll see you all to make next. I'm out. Now watch this draft preview mean absolutely nothing when the Lions trade the 29th pick to the Chiefs for L'Jarius Sneed. Just watch. Just watch it happen.